Hi, this is Gina Marie McKee, also known as Little Bit McKee, and yes, bit meaning Bitcoin, and also other bits of information to help you on your journey to financial and other types of abundance and financial empowerment. This is essentially kind of, I'm not going to label it the part two, but it's kind of the part two in terms of Bitcoin investing. I have another video that I will put the link below that gives you more of the introduction of the concept of Bitcoin and why Bitcoin, but this is more the nuts and the bolts of what I suggest. So here it is. There are many on-ramps to investing in Bitcoin, and I have two, and as soon as there's an ETF, I'm also going to, an ETF in the United States. Right now there's two ETFs in Canada, but as soon as we have a US ETF, I will be investing that also. And I probably will invest a little bit in Square and PayPal and MicroStrategy because those companies are heavily invested in Bitcoin on their balance sheet. I personally have two types. I have my wallet, my online wallet, and I use Coinbase. If you decide you want to do that, get it from the App Store. It's the blue square with the white circle in it. Very easy to use, very user friendly. Now, what I have to say, when I first started investing, I didn't invest a lot. I think it was, I don't know, maybe 3,000 to start. And at that point, that was like a half of a Bitcoin. And so that wasn't a ton of money, but because it's gone up in value so much and I have invested more, it's the point now where I'm getting a little concerned because I have not done all the personalized cold storage and really taking care of all the custody issues. And so I have another strategy that I'm always going to keep my Coinbase wallet, and I will always keep a little bit in it. And I use it actually kind of when I'm out and about to monitor, quickly monitor what the price of Bitcoin is. Although on my computer, I have my crypto watch always in the upper right-hand corner of my computer. So at a glance, I can see, the prices, like, you see that big number kind of glaring at you all day. But I'm never going to keep a lot of money in there unless I really have cold storage figured out. But I do want to always keep it because I'm already 62 years old. I don't want it when I'm 80 years old and you have to use your wallet to buy food and other essentials, like you need that because there's going to be no paper money. I don't want to start trying to learn this again when I'm in my 80s. So I will always do it, and I will try and stay up with what's going on. It's kind of like, I always had the joke that I was glad I had a son to help me in my golden years, because when I'm old, there's not going to be mattresses and beds to buy at stores anymore. We're going to be in our zero gravity chambers, and I'm not sure what kind of features I would want in a zero gravity chamber, but the same kind here. It's going to be our money system. It's all going to be digital, and we all need to stay up with it, no matter what age you are. So here is my strategy that I'm suggesting because it is the easiest way to get your toe into it. And to buy one share today, I don't even know, I haven't looked at it in a few hours. It's probably about $50 for a share. So, and I'm suggesting the TD Ameritrade platform because it's the one that I'm familiar with. But if you have another way to do it, it's quite all right. But my dad checked on something that he had, one of his platforms, and they did not have this trust to buy into. So he does have a TD Ameritrade account. I had him open it for something else in the past. And we just bought it through there. And I will embed pictures to kind of show you the process. But the first thing is you need to just get a TD Ameritrade trading platform account. And I'm going to talk to you about strategies about maybe how much money you want in the trading platform versus the next thing is going to be the Roth IRA. And it is like, okay, so go in, take it. It might take about 20 minutes, and I've set up many people on this in the last few weeks. So you go to the TD Ameritrade website and just set up an account, like create an account, go all the way through, username, password, security questions, all the way through, you set up an account. That's step one. And you may be investing in that portion, and I call that just my trading platform. That's where, when my son and I did day trading, it used to be actually be Thinkorswim though. When we did day trading, it was on Thinkorswim, who was purchased by TD Ameritrade, but you can still do that on that platform, but there's better platforms for that. But anyways, the shell of the TD Ameritrade platform, and then once you're in, at the top, there will be some headings in the upper left-hand column. It's my account, and then a couple over is retirement and planning. So go ahead and hover over that, and then you'll go down, like the first one I'm pretty sure is IRA. So hover and then click on IRA, and then it'll say, basically, let me even see, I think it's just open an account. Yeah, open an account. So you'll open that, and then on the left-hand side, and I'll embed these, there are different types of accounts, and it is definitely the Roth IRA you want to open up. So once I get you through the mechanics of this and tell you how to do it, I'm going to tell you the why, and you'll see that this is just like the way to go. So you'll go into that, make sure it's a Roth, not a traditional. Make sure it is a Roth IRA, not a traditional IRA. Should I say it one more time? Make sure it is a Roth. And then you go click on that, and then it's basically create your Roth or open your Roth. And I'll have those there for you. And so it's really just 4 steps, I think, to get in. And then you have to go through and you put your beneficiary. I also suggest, because we're before April 15th, that when it comes time to choose the year, when you start putting money in, and that's going to be the next step, you put it in for 2020, because up through April 15th, I believe it is, you can still contribute to the previous year. And depending on your age, I'm at the age now where I can contribute $7,000 a year. So if you put it into 2020 and then you get some windfall of money, work overtime, whatever it is, and have more money, you can fully fund your 2021 Roth with $7,000 if that's a goal of yours. So do it in the previous year. Then there's another thing I strongly suggest, because I've made the mistake, where it'll come to a choice where you can do options and margins or cash only. As a new investor, I would definitely put cash only, and then as you get more comfortable, then you can go into margins. But I one time put in a very large trade. I didn't think it went in. I was doing it from my phone, and I put in a second trade and didn't realize it for a while. And I actually bought it on margin. So I was paying TD Ameritrade to use their money. Now that could pay off if it went up, but it could be horrible if it goes down. You're losing money and paying interest, and then you'd have to sell stocks or bring more cash in to pay off that loan from TD Ameritrade. So I would go cash only, definitely, if you're a new investor. So now the benefits of a Roth, and I will have a separate video on the different types of retirement accounts, the different types of vehicles, even like fixed annuities, variable annuities. But right now, because I do want you to, if you're dipping your toe in, I want you to consider a Roth, and I'll tell you then how to invest on both sides, the trading platform and the Roth. But the Roth, so Bitcoin, in my mind, I'm not a financial advisor, don't have a crystal ball, but I'm thinking it's going to go up a lot in your lifetime, especially if you're a young person. And I have a lot of young people I am taking on this ride. But let's say you put $5,000 in from your savings account. So it didn't come out like a traditional IRA from your employer, and they put it in before your tax, so you get the tax benefit now. It's not part of your income that you're going to pay income tax on. So it's a nice benefit now. And for normal investments, that's fine. But for Bitcoin, which really has this potential, you've already been taxed on it. You now invest inside your Roth. Inside your Roth, you can leave it in cash, which would be stupid, but you can invest in stocks, mutual funds, bond funds, what I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. And you can move them around, and there's no tax consequence when you move them around. And then when you're at retirement age and want to start taking money out, you are not taxed. So if that $5,000 grew to $5 million, when you take out the $5 million, there's no tax consequence. You aren't taxed like income tax at that point. So that is the I was talking about before. Now, what are you going to invest in? It's a little bit different than regular stocks. Now, you can. If you just want to stop at this point, you're not interested in the Bitcoin, but you just want a Roth IRA, buying some shares of Tesla or Apple or S&P indexed fund or whatever you want to do. And you can put in the comments, and I'll try and read the comments and answer questions there if you're having different kind of thoughts, if you're a little bit concerned still on Bitcoin. But I like this because even if you buy one share, you now are invested in Bitcoin. So you've started your journey. And usually if you start your journey, that's when you really start your education, because you want to learn about it. You want to watch it. So it will be the impetus to get you going. And that's what I like. That I just want people to start, just dip their toe in, and then you'll see if it's right for you. You'll know. I know it's right for me, but if I had a different makeup or a different life situation, it might not be right. So what you're going to do is you're going to invest in a trust, and it has to be, it's an over-the-counter, and the way you buy it is limit only. You can't buy at market, so I need to explain what you need to do. So once you have your Roth IRA set up, you're going to fund it. You're going to go in and link it to a bank account, and then you're going to bring money over. Now, TD Ameritrade is really backed up right now. They're very overwhelmed because of everything that happened with Robinhood, and people are really trying to get into a lot of different investments. People are actually using stimulus checks for investments. If they don't need it for their daily lives and paying some of the bills, they're actually starting investing and thinking about their future, which I love. But they're really busy. You used to be able to call TD Ameritrade, and on the second ring, they'd pick up. Now there's very long waits as they're educating other people to be TD Ameritrade customer service. So it's very hard to get people online, on the phone right now to help. So what you're going to do is, once you have the account all set up and you have it funded, and it takes about 4 days for them to clear your funds. So you'll put it in, and you'll go into, so there's my account, and then under my account, there's positions and balances. You would go into the balance section, and there'll be lines of your cash. And then if there's a line that says uncleared funds, like $200 or $2,000, whatever you brought over, it's not available for investing yet. So you've got to watch every morning, and the stock market opens at 9:30, and that's when the investing starts for the Bitcoin trust also. So you wait till 9:30, and then you put in your trade. And you may want to watch, if you open up a crypto watch and watch what's happening with the market. You can watch the charts and see if it seems to be going down. You can wait and you can get a little bit more for your money if you get it when it's down, obviously. I've done that with several people who come in with a little bit of money, and I've tried to maximize, so we wait for it to drop a little bit. But under my account, there's the balance and positions. And positions is, once you're invested, you get to watch what your stuff is actually doing. Now, I want you to know that there is, for each trade, it's a $6.95 trade fee. So if you're trading one share, if you're trading 100 shares, you still get the one fee. So it's more advantageous. If you think you're going to do 3 shares or 10 shares, if you are willing to, and it doesn't upset your stomach, doing it once, it's more advantageous in terms of the fees. But you go into my account, and then there's trade. And then under the trade, you go to stocks and ETF, I think it is. And then you go into the buy tab, and it'll ask you for your quantity. So you have to look at the current price of this fund, and it's GBTC. Good boy, GB, Thomas Charles, GBTC. And then the blockchain trust is the first 4 letters of Ethereum, ETHE. So you have to put what stock you're buying, and you have to put the quantity. So if the GBTC stock is right now, if I looked at it right now, it's $47.50. Let me write that down so I come back to $47.50. So it's $47.50, and I have $500 to spend. So now I obviously divide it, like see how many shares I can buy. Can I buy 8 shares, 7 shares? What can I buy? And you have to remember the $6.95 fee is included in that, deducted from that 500, and then you can figure out the number of shares. So you'll put in how many you want. You put in the GBTC. You put in, you have to leave it at limit. For it's over the counter, it has to be at limit. You can't put it at market. And then you put the price that you're willing to buy it. Now, what you need to do, if you want to buy it now, you need to put it in for a little bit over what the current rate is selling for, because there's people that are willing to sell their shares of GBTC when the price gets to a certain price. So when it gets there, those shares get dumped into the system, and then you're in the wings waiting to buy it at the price that you say. Now, if you put it higher, I always put it like a quarter higher. So if it was 47.50, I put it in for 47.75 if I want to buy it right now. And then you put that price in, and then you do the review the order, and then you look at everything and make sure it doesn't go over your 500 if that's what you're doing. If it does, you've got to go back and take it down a share. And then you go back and do put it all in, review the order, and then when it's done and you like what you see, you do the purchase or whatever that tab says, but you buy it or purchase it. And then it'll go to a long line, and when you first do it, it will say open. In the far left side, it'll say open, and then you can refresh the screen every so often. And when your price has finally bought the shares, and when I'm buying, let's say I'm buying 25 shares, it might take 2 different purchases. I may buy 15 shares at the one price and then 10 shares at the next until my whole order is filled. And you'll get to see that happen actually later. You get to see how it happens on the transaction sheet, how it had to buy it. But you watch it until it says filled. Once you see filled, now you can go back under my account and positions, and you'll see that it has been filled. And now you watch it, and now you're investing in the Grayscale Trust. Now, what this Grayscale Trust is, you don't actually own Bitcoin or part of a Bitcoin like you do when you have your wallet. And eventually, when it becomes a currency, you see, one Bitcoin's worth $48,000 today. You're not going to spend your whole Bitcoin. You spend parts of it, and there's actually the micro pieces of it. They're called Sats from the founder, and those are going to be, I don't know if it's like 1/1,000,000th of it's a very small percentage of a token, of a Bitcoin. So you're not buying actual parts of a Bitcoin like you do with your app on your phone when you have a wallet. You're buying a share of the Grayscale Trust. And the reason I like this, especially for a new investor, you don't do any of the cold storage. You don't do any of the custody. It's like buying a share of Apple stock. You don't do anything with Apple stock. You buy it, and then when you want to sell it, you sell it or you hold it or whatever. Same concept here. They do all the custody. They do all the storage. You just buy a share of all the Bitcoin that they own. And they also have an Ethereum trust, and that's the ETHE. And they've also filed for some other trust. And to me, if Grayscale likes it, I kind of like it. One of the altcoins that they have a trust filed for, whether they open it or not, that's up to them, and it may or may not ever happen. But Tezos, and I actually went onto my Coinbase app and invested in Tezos. I also like some other altcoins for different reasons, like the future potential of them. And maybe we can do that in another video down the road. I think I want to go back to personal finance before I go more into the altcoins. But you're really on your way. So if I can just outline it, what you're going to do again, you're going to open up the shell of a TD Ameritrade account, and that will be your trading platform. Oh yeah, what I want to say is the Roth IRA, don't touch that if possible. Let that grow. And there is a penalty. If you take money out of a vehicle that's intended for retirement before the age of 59 and a half, you will be penalized. You'll be taxed and penalized for most retirement vehicles. So let that grow. That's your vehicle to let it grow so you have money in your future. Now, if you want to just invest now because you're saving for a car, then you invest in the GBTC in your trading platform. So that first piece. And what I suggest at the top of the TD Ameritrade, there's like a little man, like a head and shoulders, and that's your accounts. And I suggest you link your accounts so you can go in with the one sign-on and nickname them. I nickname my, my trading account and my Roth IRA. I actually watched the 7 accounts, 2 for my son, 3 for my husband, and 2 for me. Trading, mutual fund, Roth. There's 3 Roths, 3 trading, and 1 mutual fund. So I can do that all from one site. And I would link them, nickname them. Now, why am I telling you this? Oh, so you would use your trading platform for things that you might want. Now realize there's tax consequence. If you make a lot of money, you're paying capital gains on it. And you can go print out your own tax forms on the end of the year right from the TD Ameritrade site, or you can have them send you paper copies. So it's all there for your nightmare for your accountant if you buy and sell a lot. But it's all there. So trading platform would be for if you need money or you think you need money in the near future before you retire. The Roth is for your retirement money. So again, now let's go over the steps. You open up a shell, just open up a TD Ameritrade account. Take the 20 minutes, open it up. Then once you've got that, then you go into the planning and retirement, Roth, open a Roth IRA, go ahead and fill that. So now you've got 2 accounts. You need to link each one to its bank. You can use the same bank account, but you need to do 2 separate links. If you're bringing money over to your trading platform, you'll link it. And if you're bringing money over to your Roth, you'll link it. And then you bring the money over and you let it sit for the 4 days, and then it's time to invest. You go to trade, stock and ETFs, and then you put in the quantity, how many shares you can afford, the GBTC or the ETHE. Then you put in, it has to stay at limit. You put in the price you're willing to buy it. Remember, go over. If it's available for less, you'll buy it for less. You'll get to see when you go to transactions what you actually paid for it. And then you review, order, and purchase, and then wait for it to fill, and you're good to go. And I hope that was a little bit of help. Have a good day.